Hello everybody joining today. I will be hosting the webinar about getting more data driven. So this is an introduction to our new dashboard and the new layout that we have in webCRM. My name is Anne and I work on a daily basis as a consultant, a CRM consultant, and has been doing so since 2021. But let's just start by going through these slides. So, of course, here's the introduction. I already did it, and this is me. So, just some housekeeping rules before we really get started. So this session is, of course, recorded and it will be shared along with the presentation deck that I am showing you right now. You can, of course, ask questions, but there will be a Q&A at the end, so no questions during, but you will have the options to ask all of your questions in the end. And if there are some questions that we don't get to answer on this webinar, as we only have 45 minutes in total, then of course we will reach out to you afterwards to talk to you about it if you have any more questions. Good. So what's in it for you having joined this webinar? Well, we are going to look through the new front page or dashboard and the new layout for the new layout view for the entire system. So what's in it for you is, of course, if you're not using these features yet, then you will get an overview of what the new settings are and discover what features we have added, because there are new features to this view. And maybe get some inspiration for switching to this view or creating some new exciting graphs for your front page. So the agenda for today. We will just in a minute go in a system and look at a front page and looking at the first view of it. We will look at having different front pages and how you can manage these. We look at how you set them up, and then we also look at other features and nice to know. And at the end, we will look at the same things for the organization view. So, of course, not Q&A yet, but let me just switch to another screen just a moment. So I hope you can all see my screen now. So I have just logged into a system, and what you can see right now is a front page that I have just created. What you see here on the front page is just one front page that I have created, but as you can see, and it's called sales, but as you can see here, I actually have two front pages, one called sales and one called sales management. So from this, you can actually switch between the different front pages if you have multiple, and of course, if you have access to multiple front pages as well. On the right side here, you can see it says default front page, and from here you can choose which front page you want to be set as your default front page. So in my case, I have chosen the sales front page to be my default. So whenever I go out to the front page, this is the one that will be showing, even though the last thing I saw may be the sales management front page. I, of course, can create a new front page. I will get back to that. When on a front page here, of course, I can click on my settings and then I get access to setting up or changing this front page that I'm working on. When doing so, I will only be editing the front page that I'm looking on right now. But if I, as an admin, want to edit the front page for all of the users who has access to this sales front page, I'm going to click the arrow here and click edit settings for all users front pages. And I will go into depth with this as well. And the last one here is external view. If I click this, then this view will open up at another window, and this window could be used to be shared up on a screen that you can have at the office, and then it won't show all the menus and stuff up here, but just the core front page that you see. Also, as an admin, you have access to all the front pages in the system. And as an admin, you can also control who should have access to which front pages in the system as well. And you control this by the different access levels that the users have in the system. So either users can only see the different front pages, they can edit them, or they can create new ones. And that is your job to as administrator to set up whatever you find suitable for your situation. So if I want to create a new front page, then I just click on this button here. When I do so, then I can either create a new front page from a blank space, or I can create one from a template if I have created one. At this point, I have no templates in my system, so what I can do is just create a new template or a new front page from a blank template. When doing so, I need to give a name for my front page, a description for it. I choose a category for which I want this front page to be placed. In this case, we have a sales category, a support category, and a management category. So for example, if I want to create one for support, let me just name it support. And just say for support team. Then on the responsible, I can choose in which persons or users in the system do I want to have access to this front page. Either I can choose all or choose specific users who has access to it. In this case, I will just choose all, and then you can see them down below here. And then I can click create. When I have created a new front page, it looks empty like this. But of course, from the panels to the right side here, I can drag and drop report panels into it. I can choose budgets I have set up. I can choose from the entity panels showcased over here, where I get list views of the information in the system. And I have some extra panels with performance, KPI, notes, and a sales forecast. So this is how I create a new front page. And if I just click save, then I just say save. If I just go back to all of my front pages, I click on our icon here, or logo. And if I click up here again, then you can see we have the sales front page, the sales management, and now the supports. And again, if I click support, you can see it's just empty as we have not filled it out with anything. But if we just take a look at the sales front page here, you can see we have some different modules added to it. So let's look a bit on what kind of entities I have pulled in from the panel view. So what you can see here is that we have a list view of activities, a list view of meetings. We have a KPI for new customers and a KPI for how many new meetings we want, new customers. We want to have 20 in total. And for new meetings, we want to have 40. And right now we have 7 out of 40. So these KPIs, just to elaborate a bit, you can again see we have some users connected to these KPIs. So for KPIs is actually targets that you can set up for either one or multiple users in the system, and you choose which of them it should be. It's a little bit different for the performance panel here, because this for performance panel only looks at the performance of the user in question. So this means me. So these performance targets that I have here are only ones that are measured on what I do in the system, whereas the KPIs measure for all the ones that I add to as responsibles. If we go down a bit, you can also see we have more list views of the opportunities here. And then we also have a graph view here. And here we can see all the pipelines that we have for Q1 listed, where we can see the revenue divided onto the different organization who is in our pipeline currently. So this is the sales front page. So if we just try to switch to the sales management page, from here on you can see it's a bit different view where we have more graphs showing. And how you want to set it up is actually up to you. And how you do it, I will go through in a minute. So as you can see, we have different kinds of way of displaying information in the system, and how we do so differ on what you want to showcase, of course. But of course, all of these graphs that we see here are based on overviews or reports that we make in the system. So in this case, we have sales opportunities, and of course, they are based on a report or overview made by opportunities. Here we have one for orders, and this again is a report or overview made for orders. And this goes for all the reports that you see on this, or graphs that you see here, they are made of reports. So if you want to create a graph on the front page, you need to have a report first. So if I want to add a new graph to this page, maybe I want to see something about all the offers, not that we won or have in the pipeline, but the ones that we lost and the reason for losing them. So if I want to edit this setup, then either do I want to edit only for myself, or do I want to edit for all the users having access to this? I want to edit for all users, so I click Edit Settings for all users pages. I click the Sales Management, and then I get to the page where I can edit the setup. And as you can see here, we have the different boxes, and what you can do here is actually it's a drag and drop functionality that we have. So if I want to showcase all of my lost offers and the reasoning by them, I first need to search or find the report that I made. And I have made something in advance, so I have one called Lost Offers in this place, where I'm looking at all the opportunities won and lost, and then set criteria for only showing the ones that I have lost. When dragging this in, you can see it is just a drag and drop functionality, and I can also control how big I want this to be showcased. In this case, I want this big. When I have dragged it in, you can see here on the right side, I also have some different options for how to set this up. For this lost offers, you can see I can choose between different display types here. I don't want to go through all of them, but just for this showcase, I want to take the pie chart or the donut chart. So then it asks, what do I want to split my information on? And I want to do it for the reason or that we lost this opportunity. So I choose that. And as you can see here, you can choose from all the fields that you have in the system currently. Then I need to choose how I want to plot the data, either by count or by summation. In this case, I just want it to be a count, and I actually want to show the values on my chart so I can see it and not just a visualization of it. So if I click Add to this, then I have set up a new graph. And maybe if I want to make my page a little bit more pretty again, I can drag and drop my different boxes around so it looks a bit more organized again. I click the Save button and I say Save and go back and then to the front page, clicking on our logo. I go to the sales here as it is my default, so I need to go into my sales management again. And here you can see I have my new graphs for all the lost offers in a pie chart, divided on the different reasons why we lost it. So this is just an example of what you can do, and all the graphs that you see here is created on the same way, but of course it is displayed on different ways, and also is divided, the data is split in different terms as well. So this is for the front page. If I just click on the settings again, edit for users, and take the sales management. So if I just close this, just to go through it with you a little bit. So here under the report panel, you can see all the reports that you have created as your reports or overviews. You can either search or set up criteria for which data type it is. You can also add budgets. So if you have created budgets in the system, you can also add these to be showcased on the front page. You can add the different entities as well. So you get a list view of all the organizations, activities, orders, opportunities, and so forth. And of course, by doing so, if I just showcase it for this one, for organization, then you can give it a name. You can choose how you want to sort it. You can select for which type of organizations you want to list, what status they should have, and for who's responsible for them. So for each of these entities that you put in, you need to set it up for what you want it to showcase on the front page. Let me just delete this again. And what we have here below is some extra panels. So which we already saw the performance and the KPI. So performance is the personal targets that you can set up for yourself. The KPIs is either for yourself or the whole team or some of the team. We have some notes you can set in where you can add different notes, or you can add the sales forecast. In this system, it is deactivated, but if I could add it, then it would be AI predicting a sales forecast for how the sales is going to go based on the data that is already in the system. So this is the setup of a front page. Of course, if you want to delete it, you have the trash can. If you want to edit either the naming or who is responsible or who has access to it, you can do it from here as well. If you want to save this as a template for your users, then you can click on this one and save it as a template. And when doing so, as I said in the start, then you can, maybe I should just do it for the sales here. So if I save this as a template, then you can see by clicking here for a new one, then you can choose the sales, and this will be the default for creating a new one. And then it would have the same setup, the same boxes, the same list views and everything. So this is a nice way to work, to have a default front page to have. Yes. So if we move on a bit to the new view for organization, activities, opportunities, orders, and so forth. So let's just try to click here on organizations and go into organization's main view. So when doing so, this is how the new view for the organization looks. And as you can see, there might be some similarities in the viewing. As you can see, there are different boxes with information. And when editing it is also kind of the same functionality as you saw from the front pages as well. So if you want to edit the front page, you just click Actions and choose Edit Setup. What's important to say when you do this, you don't only do it for the organization that you're on. In this case, you do it for all organizations, and it's only you as an admin who has the access to doing this. So not all the users have this access. But from here, you can, as you can see, it looks a little bit like the front page, but here you can edit the setup for how you want it to look when looking at the main view of your organization. So you can have the different boxes here. You can move them around as you want. You can see here on the right side that you have a details panel where you again have the different entities that you can pull in. So if you want all your activities shown, then you can have it here. Of course, we already have one down here. Here we say we can see all the activities. Maybe we just want to see the complete ones in this case. And then on this one, we want to see all the planned and ongoing. So we have it divided so they're not all showcased in the same box. And of course, when doing so, please use the panel name to say that this is active or maybe ongoing activities. Sorry, just need a glass of water. Sorry. So we can also select the sorting order here. So either do we want to sort them by the new state or overdue. And you can see we have a displayed field as well where we can add multiple new fields if we have so. So if we have the field main product or services attached to our activities and we want to showcase that, we can add it, mark it here and say add, and then it will be showcased. If I click save here, then it will be showcased on the activity out here. But let's try to go back to the edit setup. So as we could see for ongoing activities, you get a panel here where you can edit the setup. This goes for all the other entities as well. So if we look at persons, then you have the same options to either set for which status, which persons with which statuses do you want to see, or do you want to see the job title or role as well and mark this. And you can do this for all of them. As you can see right now, we don't really have anything showcasing orders, so we could add that if we wanted it to. And if we want to remove anything, it's just a bin you click on. So we have the details panel here, and if we go down a little below, you can see we can also add KPIs for specific organizations. We can add budgets for specific organizations. We can see email information about if they opened their emails. And you can see here we have a sidebar panel as well. So this page is actually divided in a side panel and the main panel. So if I choose this one, you can see I can only add it over here, and the ones in the middle can only be added here in the middle. Yes. So if I just go back a bit to see, then you can also see we have the different tabs here for showcasing either the details, the different entities. We can also see the different fields here. If you want to change this setup, then it's also under the edit setup here. And then you can see the tabs that you can change or you can set up. So either you can do something with the details, you can do some setup for the fields as well. So in this case, maybe I only have the address information, but I don't have the delivery address information. So if I want that, maybe I could just add another field here. I can add the new fields. So here we have the delivery address. I just take everybody here. Then, of course, give the panel a name or the box, add it, save it, and go back, and I can see I also have the delivery address showcased here. I also have, if I want to add more tabs here that I want to set up, because if I put in all these detailed panels, then it will be a very long page. So of course, if I click this edit tabs here, then you can see on the right side, we see all the panels showcasing. So what my options here are that I can move around on the position of them being showcased. And in the bottom, I can also add a new tab if I want to. So maybe this is, I have details and I want a details too. I can put that up here, and then I can just add it and save it. And then we have the first details page here. And for the second detailed page here is of course empty, but here I could put in my accumulated data, set that up for whatever I wanted for the currency. I could put in some different KPIs for my organization, what the order target should be per week or maybe per year. I could also put in if I have a budget for this particular organization as well, and put a budget for either the revenue or gross margin. So when doing so, and of course now I haven't filled anything specific in, but if I save it and go back with the area here, you can see that in my details tab here, I have my details overview, I have my second details overview, and then the other ones. And you can see before I have documentation here, documents here, and now it's moved down here. So I can actually decide to which order these tabs should be showcased here. I don't have time to go through both activities, opportunities, and orders, but it is quite the same thing that you can do for both activities, opportunities, and orders. So let me just show it quick. We have activities here. If I just click in on this one, so going into actions, you have again the edit setup where you can decide however you want your details tab to look like in this case. And again, you have the details panel to drag and drop the information. And click save when you're done. And on activities as well, you just have the default tab for showing what it is your default tab should be whenever going into an activity. Is it the details overview or the activity log or maybe organization log? So I think that was a very quick overview of what you can both do on the front pages and in the organization view for organizations, activities as well. It is quite the same. So I think we will leave the time left to questions or Q&As if you have any. No, there might not be any. Well, okay. Well, if there ain't any questions left for this, otherwise you can always reach out to my CSM colleagues about any of the things that I have walked through with you today. Yeah, well, then I think I will say thank you for today. Have a nice afternoon Bye.